Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Healing Corner. Welcome to the Health Talk with me, Dr. Barbara Samaru. Um, I hope I can't really see who's on the line, but tonight I want to do something a little different. I do have a PowerPoint. We are going to talk about respiratory issues and things like that, and some remedies to help strengthen the respiratory system. But at the end of this, around 7:40, I would like to open the lines up, for you to even call me on the number that's going across the screen, the 240-695-6677, to for questions, comments, or anything that you would like to say or ask a question. I would love to do that. I'm going to start allowing that about 7:40 every Friday, so that I like to get feedback. I like to know who I'm talking to. I like to know that you guys are getting something from what I'm saying. So, my prayer is that you will learn something with these health talks. So, it's every show. I like to open the show with a word of prayer, but I'd also like to start off with taking some essential oils. So, if you please get in the habit of coming on with me and getting some oil, some type of oil, lavender, eucalyptus, whatever it is you have, rosemary, whatever kind of oil that you have. I like to take this time to start the show by doing a little breathing exercise. And you take that oil and you rub it in your hand and you place your hands over your nose and you breathe in. And you hold it and then you exhale. This, I want to do it 4 times. This allows the mind to get centered and also to let go of everything while you're breathing in. You're breathing in freshness, being present in this moment. And then as we exhale, I want you to release everything that you went through today or whatever it is. Just leave it outside the door and come into the present right now. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Breathe in to be present here right now. Hold and breathe out. Exhale. Let all the day, everything from today, the busyness, all of that, all the craziness, whatever it was, let it all go and get to this present moment tonight so that we can hear something that is going to benefit you and help you in this season. Tonight, we're into the fall. One more time, breathe that in. Hold and exhale. Beautiful. We're going to be doing that every Friday, so I would like you to please get you some good oil that is of good quality that you would want to breathe in. You right? Be careful of getting some cheap oils because you don't want to breathe in toxins. You want to breathe in some good healing oils, okay? I'm going to open a word. Father God, we come to you tonight in the mighty, mighty, matchless name, Lord Jesus. I give you all the praise and all the glory and all the honor tonight, God. I thank you for this hour, for this time, that people would come on and hear things that would help them to grow, to open their mind, their understanding of how their health, oh God, in this season and in this hour, God. I ask that you touch everyone that comes on this line tonight. Touch them from the crown of their heads to the soles of their feet. Heal them, touch them right where they are. Because we know you can do it. We know you are a great physician. But God, I ask you tonight that they would learn the principles of things that we have to walk out our walk by faith, and faith without works is dead. So help us to have that faith, but to work it as we're living this life. And we give you all the praise and glory and honor tonight in Jesus' mighty name. So tonight we're gonna talk about the respiratory system, and I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint And you might not see me, but that is totally fine with me. Give me 1 second to pull this up here and bring my PowerPoint up here. And let me make sure that we are seeing that. Yes, so we are seeing that. And I can go down here. So, do you struggle to breathe, or do you know someone, anybody that struggles to breathe? There's so many respiratory issues. I'm from the DMV, so it's very prominent here because of the air quality and all kind of things going on here. Of respiratory issues. So I want to show you some natural solutions to lower respiratory disease. Lower respiratory disease is where the lungs are. I've taught in the past, probably not on the show, on my other health talk, about where the upper respiratory is the sinuses and those kind of things. But tonight I want to talk about the lower respiratory diseases and some things that can help you. So this lower respiratory disease that affects about 5% of the population. So two of the top leading causes of death involve the lungs. Chronic lower respiratory diseases is the fourth leading cause of death, and pneumonia is the ninth leading cause of death. And I'll just give you a little anatomy of these these are little air sacs called alveoli that are inside the lungs. And these little air sacs, when we breathe in, there's like a vacuum, and they open and close, open and deflate. And what happens when we breathe in toxins and things in the air, or anything around chemicals, those kind of things, that starts to form some mucus. And we're going to go through this whole thing, but it's so important. I want you to remember through this whole thing, no matter what remedies, it's most important to be hydrated. It is so important. Do you know when a person goes to the hospital, I don't care what the situation is, what the problem is, they don't even ask you anything. First thing that they do is put you on an IV bag. Why? Because they need to hydrate that body. A lot of people suffer from dehydration, and this can cause a lot of problems in all the systems. But tonight we're talking about lungs tonight. And so, first thing, we need to avoid some respiratory irritants like smoking. We want to be careful of volatile chemicals such as paint, fumes from cleaning products, artificial fragrances, and solvents. And one thing that helps your home, inside your home, with all the, probably some toxins going on in the home, is to have some house plants, some green house plants, because it helps to filter in the indoor air. It actually brings oxygen. It gets rid of the carbon dioxide. So it kind of puts that oxygen in your home. It's very, and plus it's just so relaxing and soothing to have plants around you. Greenery is very healthy. And also, if you live in a place with high pollution, which I would consider the DMV kind of like that, because of the air quality, then it'd be a good idea to have an air purifier. Which helps to purify the air as well. Not a diffuser. This is something that actually has a filter that helps to pull from ions and things to help to purify your air, the air quality. So in Chinese medicine, the lungs would be part of the metal element in traditional Chinese medicine. So the colon and the lungs, they are part together. So if there's inflammation in the GI tract and other GI tract problems, these all will contribute to respiratory issues. And I'm gonna that's really true as far as the gut, because I believe all roads do lead to the colon, all situations that is going to be an underlying cause and issue. So it's very important to keep the gut healthy with enzymes, probiotics, fibers, and also a healthy diet. I was saying how all diseases earlier, I was saying all diseases at the end of some things, whether it be cancer, whether it be heart disease, whether it, whatever the issue is, whatever the quality of life is, as health declines, especially with elderly people, um, respiratory issues are big. Play a big part in the end of life too. It affects the respiratory system. So this is very important again that we stay hydrated. Mucus is mostly water. Keeping the lungs hydrated helps the mucus trap and remove irritants. So it helps them, but we don't want, see, if we're dehydrated and the body's producing too much mucus and it becomes thick and it gets down, stuck into those little air sacs that you saw a picture of, that's what is going to become a serious issue and some problems. So hydration is the key to anything, any regimen that we do. Even if you're taking medication, especially, they tell you to drink plenty of water. Why? Because we need to dilute those toxins, and so that and also to be able to flush things out of the system. So even adding a little bit of salt, like Himalayan salt, those sea salt, things like that, helps to increase mucus production and has a natural decongestant action. It will help to. So I don't know if you've ever gone to the ocean, if you do have sinus problems or any kind of respiratory issues, but if you go to the ocean and just stay in it, it's such a cleansing effect. I mean, it cleaned everything out. I mean, you could feel it, like stuff just moving from your body. And I just, from the head to the toe, I think it's an amazing thing. I absolutely love to get to the beach as much as possible when the season's right. So when the season opens up, I'm there at the beach. So I've been about at least four times this year. So I really enjoyed myself there and just being in those waves. Yes, so now we're going to talk about solving some specific respiratory problems. Chronic cough. So the cough reflex helps to get thick or stuck mucus moving again. Sometimes you feel that wheezing, or you can feel, with a cold or flu or whatever, that stuff is just stuck in the lungs. And the cough, we try to bring it up, and sometimes it doesn't come up. So coughing is an involuntary violent expulsion of air from the lungs, so it's trying to help to remove some things from there. So you're going to have that cough. But chronic coughs are usually non-productive, meaning there's no mucus expelled because it's still stuck there, or sometimes the airways or elasticity of the lungs, of those little sacs, are not able to contract and open and contract for you to be able to pull that up. That's why, again, first thing I tell people before I go into remedies and all of that is, again, make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. The rule of thumb is at the very least, 2 liters of water per day. If you can get more in, that's even better. But you need at least 2 liters a day. And it's not flavored water. It's not your vitamin water. It's not anything you're adding in, electrolyte water. You need you just need plain water, 2 liters of that. Anything added into the water, it's not considered the water. You can drink that, but it's not considered to be part of that 2 liters per day that you would need to do what water needs to do. Okay. So there are some expectorants and decongestants. And the decongestants loosen or thin the mucus so it can be pushed out. Expectorants expel the mucus. So some of the herbal remedies for this would be pine bark. Now, pine bark and even pine needle. I love pine needle essential oil, and I always, this is the season right now that we're in the fall right now, right? And the weather here, early in the morning, it's like 50 degrees, and then by afternoon, it's 80 degrees. So that's a big change throughout the day. So it's like you go from very cold in the morning when you wake up, and then very hot in the afternoon. So it's a lot lot of changes going on, and it can definitely affect the respiratory system. And so I love to use pine needle. I keep it in a diffuser in my office, and I like to take it and actually rub it on my throat, and it helps so much. And if I feel a little congested as well, I do thyme and the rosemary, and I just kind of mix that up and mostly rub that on my throat or inhale it, breathe it in if I feel congested in any way. Most of the times I feel more congested in the morning um, than any other time. It's because I guess when you sleep and all things kind of settle, So, but throughout the day you move around and things start to move. So moistening expectorants help dry unproductive coughs. This mullein right here, mullein is like the number one thing I believe for respiratory issues, for moving mucus, especially moving mucus. People tell me, I get a lot of calls. I have, what do you do for the mucus? What do you do for just different things? If you use an antihistamine, right? An over-the-counter antihistamine, whatever, or allergy medicine, whatever it is, what that does is just dry up everything. It dries the mucus up. So where is it going? It's not going anywhere. It's just drying it up. And I know a few years ago, I had a friend who had a clogged tear duct. Her tear ducts were clogged, and she was saying she has to go in for a surgery. And I said, "What kind of surgery?" I was just amazed, And the little, your little tear duct is really tiny. She said, "Oh, they're going to take a little needle and they're going to go unclog it." I was like, "Wow." I said, "Can you just give me 3 weeks and see if you take this product, if it can help you? And if not, I'm gonna pray for you through that." And she said, "Okay." So I gave her the mullein. I had her taking twice a day. And within that 3 weeks, all had cleared up everything, because what is it does, that was dried up mucus, was my point, into that little duct, and it was all dried up and it got hard. She had dealt with sinus issues and was taking these kind of medicines, and nothing wrong with taking the medicines, but you're not drinking enough water, and so this stuff gets hard and gets stuck in there. So she took the melon, drank the water, and started flushing everything, and it was able to break up that mucus in that tear duct. So I thought that was really cool, and I was just happy that I could help her to, they're going through something like that. I would be scared for somebody to come in my eye with anything, much less a needle, but that's what they do. So also marshmallow helps for irritation and like the mucosal membranes. Marshmallow is very soothing for that. Licorice is very good for children too as well. Elecampane and plantain with Grindelia. These two right here, the plantain with Grindelia, is something for deep-seated, deep, hard mucus that is very hard to get out of the lungs. We would make a mixture of that and mix that up, and it would help to start pulling the stuff up. It's just like when I talk about the colon, you need some like bentonite clay to pull all the waste and things from the walls of the colon. That's what this would do, this plantain with the Grindelia mixture, to help pull that stuff out as well. Astragalus is very good. And this Chinese metal increasing formula for an expectorant. Antitussives and aromatherapy, that should be tried first if it's not a serious issue. But they help to calm antitussives calm the cough reflex. I use lobelia. I used to use it on my children when they were really little, and the doctor said they could have had asthma. And I used to take that liquid lobelia and rub it all on their chest, rub it on their feet and all that, and help them a lot. And also when they gave them a what do you call it? Not the inhaler, but the machine to breathe in. They wanted to give some medicine for that, but I didn't care for that because it was a steroid. I know it's necessary if the airways were closing off, but I decided to use something in the machine, colloidal silver, and it opened up everything, cleared up. It's an antibacterial, antiviral, antifungus, all that kind of stuff. So it worked very well for the kids, for the children, when they had respiratory issues. Inhaling essential oils and steam can also be helpful for coughs. You know, when and these are the four that are very, very good. I have pine and rosemary and the thyme right here on my desk, and I rub them on my throat because I don't really get that congested, but it's a great thing. And I also do aromadome therapy, which you sit on the massage bed and you put your head inside this tent, and my oils are diffusing right out of a powerful diffuser. So you're breathing all of that in, real pure essential oils. Starts opening up things right away. So that's really cool too for people. They like that. And the other, here's bronchitis. Bronchitis is inflammation of the tubes of the lungs, and it can be caused by irritants, allergic reactions, or infection. We got to talk about these allergic reactions can come from our food as well. If we don't know, food allergies, if we're not sure what those are. That's why it's important to eat for your blood type, because if you look at those lists for your blood type, you will see a lot of avoids on different blood types. And then you may see what by removing some of those avoids, you can see a big change in your health and things that you experience. Inflammation involves swelling, and then swelling constricts airflow, making breathing more difficult, right? So when it's constrict tight, and you can't get the air through, it can cut off. It also causes more mucus to production as the body tries to flush out the irritant. So here's some remedies for bronchitis. Garlic. So garlic is an awesome, awesome antibiotic. I would use garlic and golden seal before I would use, for me, I would use that before I would use antibiotics over the counter or prescription or whatever, because these are very, very powerful antibiotics. Echinacea, elderberry, all these are very good. All of these help boost that immune system. They're boosting up the immune system. When you use antibiotics, it can, if for too long, it can, and if your immune system's already compromised, right, then you're getting rid of all the good, and you're getting rid of the bad bacteria and the good bacteria too. So if you do take antibiotics for any issue, it's very good to replenish your body with some good probiotics for at least 2 weeks. I would maximize it to like 6 in the morning every day for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on the person, depending on what you were going through and things like that. So that's very important. Reducing inflammation, cordyceps. Cordyceps is really, really good for the lungs. It works as a natural steroid, so it helps those lungs to be, you get better airflow, more elasticity, opens those lungs up for better airflow. Licorice, marshmallow, mullein, all of these. All of these are great natural remedies, natural herbs for reducing inflammation in the lungs. And then I use, this is Ayurvedic bronchial formula that I recommend for my clients. So this is Ayurvedic is Indian, and and I also use Chinese traditional medicine as well. So this works very well for better breathing, better airflow, and those kind of things. And here's asthma. So you see the picture here of the normal bronchial right here, how it's open wide and it's like, an airway going there. And then with asthma, if you look on the outside of this, you see this is normal. And then with asthma, things get constricted, it's like rubber bands hit it, squeezing that bronchial. And then on top of the squeeze, constriction, mucus is forming in here, so it's just pretty much blocking the whole airway from getting any type of air. So that's a problem. Now, if a person's going to definitely need steroids to open that airway in a situation that's, detrimental. I remember I had my grandson had a procedure done. He was 2 years old, had a procedure done, and they did something happened to him, and I had to rush him. And I thank God that I had him with me. I rushed him to Children's Hospital, and if I hadn't have got him there when I did, his whole airway would have closed off. I mean, at that point, you can't wait on anything to work. You have to get things done right away. So that's a case where emergency situation that things are necessary. But after that, when he came out of that, I started making sure that I was building up his lungs, giving him his vitamins, his minerals, things that he needed to build up those lung tissues and strengthen those things, and that kind of thing, and dealing with stress of any type. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to teach people. Wherever you are right now, if you're taking any type of medication, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Every medicine has their place, but we cannot depend on living our life the way we have always lived our life, eating the way we want, doing what we want the same way, and take some medicine and expect a different result, because the medicine is only there to help you to overcome, to kind of stabilize some things, but after that, what are we doing after that? Are we helping the cells to regenerate stronger cells, or are we doing the same thing we always did, and then the medicine gets to a place that it needs to be stronger because it can't do the job anymore if we have not done our part in strengthening up those tissues? Remember that cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs, and organs make up the systems, right? So when we go down to the cellular level, that's important. So here's some asthma symptomatic remedies. Again, the cordyceps, licorice root, vitamin C is important, especially this time of year. Everyone should be taking vitamin C right now, from now until even in the spring. Should be just taking it right now. We got to fortify our immune system, right? And this will help all the tissues. This vitamin C helps to rebuild tissues and that kind of thing. So that's really, really important. Turmeric and curcumin is an anti-inflammatory, just a wonderful anti-inflammatory. So that can be used for so many things. For bronchial dilating, let's go back to that. Oh yeah, for bronchial dilating, again, lobelia. Now they have it in capsules, and you would not take that on a long, like for a long period of time. That's something you would take as you're feeling wheezing or you're feeling onset of things. It can work like an inhaler. And then for kids, I take the liquid and I just rub it on the front of their chest and in the back. I just rub it on them like that. And Kela and Black Cohosh, all these are for dilating the bronchioles and you can get all these in liquid. You can get it in capsule too, but liquid is better when you're dealing with a situation like this. And then the Chinese metal decreasing formula. This is what I use, the lung support. And so asthma lifestyle remedies, again, staying hydrated, eliminate food allergies. I'm going to tell you, wheat and corn and dairy, especially in certain blood types, it can just cause havoc not only on the gastrointestinal but on the respiratory as well. We just, especially with children, it's just such a fine line. We don't know, doctors can't say what causes the asthma. But there's so many elements to what could cause asthma. So it's very important that we look at all those things. What are we eating? What triggered it? What did you last eat in the last 3 days that could have triggered an asthma attack? Was it dairy? Was it mucus forming foods? Bread? That's wheat product. Bread. dairy, those kind of things. And most times, 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. Avoid refined carbohydrates. Avoid things that are, I like to say, the packaged foods. It's better to shop on the perimeter, the outer perimeters of the grocery store. It's better to shop out there. You get things fresh and not in packages. We also need to strengthen the adrenal glands. And I have a great adrenal gland formula that I recommend for people. Licorice root is good for children to help their adrenal glands. And adaptogen herbs. What's an adaptogen? Adaptogen helps to bring things in balance. And I have a product called Adaptomax, and it has a blend of different things, but it helps not only the adrenal glands, it helps to calm things down, the nervous system, but it also helps the thyroid. So all those organs, all those things kind of work together. So if one thing is out of place, one thing is not working properly, it's like a domino effect. There's a lot of things involved, not just um, one thing involved. And that's why I do not like to treat symptoms. I don't like to just treat, when somebody's given a diagnosis, because we have to get to the roots of everything that was going on, even when you were a child, what you ate, what what have you been through. Remember last week we talked about all the what we're made up of and those kind of things, emotionally, mentally, all those things. So that's so important that we understand all those things when we're dealing with any issue, so that we can address all on the spiritual, on the mental and the emotional, and then the physical level. It's very, very important that we have all those things in a balance. It just is. It's very, because all of our issues, I'll say that you will hear me say this um, every broadcast. Good health is your choice, but our issues in our life are tied to our tissues. Even from the time we were in our mother's womb, whatever she was going through, we it was passed to us. So we came in the world with someone's baggage, and then we added our own baggage on top of that, and we never dealt with any of our emotional stuff, our emotional things. And therefore, later on in life, by the time, you don't just wake up one day, 40 years old, and oh, you have, whatever the disease, COPD, all these different things. This has been going on for a long, long time, many, many years going on, and it didn't present itself until later on. So it's nothing just creeps up on us one day. This is a lifestyle that has taken us to this situation. So also, strengthening the adrenal glands and correcting hiatal hernia if it is present. And that's what you need to find out from the doctor. They would be able to tell you if you have a hiatal hernia. Reactive airway disease is similar to asthma. It's the bronchial passages are hypersensitive to irritation. Breathing in cold air and air, dust, or other minor irritants can trigger a dry, non-productive cough, wheezing, difficulty breathing, and a tight feeling in the chest and shortness of breath. So we want to follow the same kind of recommendations as we had up there for the asthma, like licorice root, cordyceps, the bronchial formula, those kind of things that work very well. And again, I want to say dealing with your stress levels too is very important, because stress can lead to these kind of symptoms as well. And then we have pneumonia. Pneumonia is typically caused by a viral or a bacterial infection. It causes inflammation and causes fluid. The inflammation causes fluid to accumulate in the lungs, making it very difficult to breathe. You know, um, I've had pneumonia once in my life. I was very young. I don't even know what happened. I was in a very stressful situation, a lot of stress. I think I was working probably 3 jobs at the time and raising my children. I mean, I had a business, just doing a whole lot of things. And so my body just was like, took me down. But I didn't have it that long. And so I did. I think I had to get an X-ray or something like that. But at that time, a family member knew what to do and gave me some remedies, so I was able to overcome it with this way, with natural things. I thank God for that, because I've never had to get on that road with having to, take medications and all that. My body just don't know if I can handle that medication. So I try everything natural, and then when you can't do that, of course we have to do it for a time, and then we have to change some things. So these are some pneumonia remedies. Again, that garlic is so powerful. You guys should eat garlic sometimes. Just eat it, but eat it with something, mix it with a. It's very hot. It's very, but I'm telling you, it can break down some things in the body. But you got to eat it with like a cracker, or a gluten-free cracker, or some kind of good cheese that's good for your blood type. You have to look at that and just kind of eat that down, take that down. But I love garlic in my food, and very, very good. Antigraphis is another good thing. Nanoparticle silver in the nebulizer. That's what I used to do, is the silver shield I used to put in the nebulizer for my children to open, just clear up all that mucus and all that stuff. Was very, very good. Inhaling essential oils like your pine, eucalyptus, thyme, rosemary, and cedarwood. Those are some beautiful oils. Should write those down. Pine, eucalyptus, thyme, rosemary, and cedarwood. Some very good oils for helping to expel and bring up something. That's why I put it on my throat. I put it on my chest, and I don't really have. I only get this because this weather from the 50, going from 50s up into 80s is just kind of a little different. Getting used to this weather, and then in the fall, which we're in right now, we have to be careful, because when the leaves start falling, how beautiful they are, and they don't get raked up, it causes mold and mold in the air. So we're breathing that stuff in. And that's the other thing. We have to check our air ducts in our houses and our homes, making sure that we are not breathing in any type of mold and those, because those are very detrimental to the lungs as well, and can cause all these kind of issues. So these are just some um, remedies. That was for pneumonia. This is pleurisy. Pleurisy is inflammation of the tissues that cover the lungs and line the thoracic cavity. Causes painful and difficult breathing, and may also have a cough, collection of fluid or fibrous tissue in the thoracic cavity. There's I'm telling you how God God is amazing. He knows what we need. He knew way back then when he created us that we were going to need these things. And this is a plant called pleurisy root that actually helps pleurisy. Isn't that amazing? That's a root. And taking that is very, very powerful for helping those things. All these different things. Lobelia, here we go again. Yarrow, MSM is sulfur. And sulfur helps tissue, helps to repair tissue, as well as vitamin C. All these things help the inflammation and help to soothe and build the tissues. That's what's important. Soothing the tissues is one thing, but we want to build it back up and help to build that elasticity back in the lungs. Because when we have chronic diseases, that's what happens. That elasticity kind of just, it gets less and less. So it's very, very important. That's why it's easy for fluid to build up in the lungs when we're not able to get that out. COPD. So there's a lot of things that under this, under chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So a lot of things. See, this is a group of slow developing lung disorders: adult asthma, chronic bronchitis, emphysema. Emphysema. Symptoms include cough with mucus, shortness of breath, fatigue, frequent respiratory infections, and wheezing. And yes, let me just say this. Yes, it is important in this situation to have medicine. And I know people have inhalers and depend on the inhalers. But while you're doing all of that, again, it's so important to drink your water. And it's so important, I would tell you, to still do some type of herbal remedy to help to strengthen the actual tissues and the linings of the lungs, of all parts of the lungs. It's very important, because medicine some of that stuff can actually cause the to weaken the elasticity in the lungs itself. So that's important to understand that. It's very necessary when you're in this situation to do it, because it happens, it gets in there very quickly, it dilates that. Very important. But while you're going through it, we don't want to get worse. You want to try to overcome it and get better, and you can, because God made us that way. He made this body in such a way um, that it can heal itself. And I can tell you this right here. I helped a lady back in 2015 who ended up with lung cancer from COPD with lung cancer, and she was given 2 months to live, and she was in hospice. Her friend asked me to come and see her, and at that time, that was back in 2015, and I didn't know what I was going to say to her or what I was going to do. I just went there to pray for her, really. But God had a different plan. And He downloaded some things in me, and He asked that lady, um, He asked her through me, "Do you want to live?" And I'm thinking, God, what are you saying to this lady? And He said it again, "Do you want to live?" 3 times. And the lady said yes. And God just started showing me things I needed to do for this lady, helping her with her diet, doing some different protocols. I used to take alkaline water to her to make sure she had best water she can get. I used to take it to her. And it was really icy that year. I remember I went, and she couldn't even get to the door a lot of times. And so as time went on, she's working on the lungs, she's taking different things. And in 3 months, somebody was able to bring her to my store. I had a store at that time. 6 months later, she's driving up in her own, bought a new car, and drove up. So, you know, I don't know. I haven't heard from her in a long time, but I do believe she's still. I know a couple years ago, I know she was still alive, and they had given her 2 months to live. So I'm telling you, the body has the amazing ability to heal, but we have to give it what it needs. We were created from the earth. We were created from the very minerals, vitamins and minerals in the soil, all those things, all the plants, all those things. And God, let me tell you, He's so amazing. He created plants for us to see. Said, "I will take the simple things." You hear me? I will take the simple things to confound the very wise. And if you see this right here, that looks like bronchial. That looks like inside the lungs, those little things. But not only that, um, let's look at a walnut. Walnut, open that up. It looks like the brain. And that's exactly, it's brain food. It helps to nourish the brain. It's fat. It's a fat that helps the brain. Is that amazing? There's so many things I could tell you. Hawthorn berry. The thorns from the hawthorn berries, what they placed on Jesus' head when they crucified Him. But that plant, if you look at it, it looks like a heart. And that's its very job to do, is to strengthen the heart muscle. And it works like to go in and clean out the arteries and all those kind of things. I'm telling you, it's amazing. That's why I love studying this. I love seeing what these plants do. I love how God He's the artist of all of this. He's the great physician, but He said He created every seed bearing herb and plants all for the healing of the nations. And we thank Him for that. We think that we can do, if we have to do both. There's times we need medicine, but it's so important that we take authority over our health and do some things as well. And because He said we have to walk this out. Faith without works is dead. And that's what I was telling the lady. You got to see yourself with a new set of lungs, because He can do it. He can do it. But we have to work toward it too. So while we're doing what we're supposed to do in the natural, He working it out in the spirit. And then it all comes together, because we are spirit first, mind, emotions, and body. Mind, body, and spirit. Got to bring those things together. Everything you see around you started out in the spirit world first, because it was a thought and emotion, a thought first, and then you see it manifest into the physical. It's the same principle. We got to see ourselves well. We got to see ourselves whole, healed, delivered, all those things. I'm running out of time. It is 7:44, so if you all check this phone, anybody's trying to call in, asking any questions about the respiratory system tonight, I'd be happy for you to call. I'll put you on speaker and we can answer the call. So 240-695-6677. I'd love to hear from you if you're hearing this and you have any questions. Again, that's 240-695-6677. I'm going to go here to the lifestyle remedies for the COPD. You see this? We got to, if there's smoking involved, most times it is caused from smoking. Improve intestinal health, enzymes, and probiotics. I can't stress it how important these are. Because back in the day, you could get that from your food, but we can't anymore because remember, food, when they pick it and they, prepare it, it first sends to a warehouse and then it's distributed to all the stores around, right? And so if they picked it at its ripe, when it's the most beneficial for us, it would be rotten before it hit the store. So they don't do that. And so we're not getting the full potential for healing purposes. So, yes. So that's really important to understand. So we have to supplement. We have to do supplementation with enzymes, probiotics, and those kind of things, and other things, to add into our diet. It's very important. Antioxidants are crucial in this time we're living in. And I am going to say names on here. I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, what I'm allowed to do or whatever, but Tahitian noni juice is something that will help to clean up a lot of things. And then there's redox signaling molecules. We're going to have a show dedicated to talk about what is redox signaling molecules, because it is very important to understand that the redox signaling molecules help to repair damaged cells and to fortify healthy cells, and so that you can fortify your line of defense for your immune system. It's very important. I'm going to have a special guest one day talking about redox signaling molecules. So stay tuned for that. But here are some helpful herbs for COPD. Right, same thing. The licorice, the mullein, the reishi mushrooms. Cordyceps is a mushroom as well. Astragalus, these are lung tonics. We were talking about this earlier. And the Chinese metal increasing formula. So that would be, there's a lot of things that that's be lung support. That would be a lung support there. There's a breathe activator, those kind of things. Bronchodilators, the lobelia, the Kella, these I would get in a liquid. And there's many brands out here. You just have to, kind of look it up and see what brands have these. Herb Farm is good. I like them. And an antitussive is coltsfoot flower, wild cherry bark. This is very good at making, like cough syrups and things like that. Homemade remedies. And let's see. Then here's emphysema. This is the most common form of COPD, is the emphysema. So you see that? The difference here, this is the normal alveoli, and this is emphysema right here. So it's a degenerative disease where the inflammatory process in the alveoli have caused tissue breakdown. It's just chronic. It was just too much. And the alveoli lose elasticity, making breathing labored. That's what happens. It loses the elasticity. And so fluid also accumulates in the lung tissue. And that's symptoms include labored breathing, wheezing, and a husky cough. Trying to get it out, but it's not able to push it out. Respiratory situations are very, very serious, very serious. Without breath, we can't live. We can't breathe. We can't survive. So heart attack, I know, is at the top. Cancer is at the top of the list of the leading cause of death. I guess right now, whatever this is going on, is at the top, I guess, still right now. But there's so many things that are caused, the that are cause of death. And if we strengthen these things, that's what I'm talking about, the respiratory system, because if we strengthen this and take things and change our diet, get rid of mucus forming foods, those kind of things, then we will not be a host for viruses and bacteria to jump on. They're looking for a host. Viruses are looking for a host. And the way, what's the host? A lot of thick mucus. That's what that is. That's how you become a host to that. So if you drink sodas and you prefer to have all these, colored beverages and all these things, and eat fast foods and do all these things, then you're creating an environment that a virus would love to live in, right? An acidic environment. That's all that. And never drink any water. You can't drink one bottle of water and then 5 bottles of Coke and expect the body to do something for you. It can't, because look at the soda, so much acid in the soda. And yet it's so addictive because sugar is so addictive. So these kind of things, I'm just kind of just throwing these things out here. I know we're almost out of time, but it's so important. I can't emphasize more about this respiratory system at this time, because of what's happening around us and what's going on around us. You've got to, regardless of what you do, what choices that you make, and I'm definitely not going to address that everybody has a choice, and this is your life, right? And you have to make a choice on what you're going to do. But whether you do or you don't, you have to fortify the immune system if you want to survive, because the virus can jump on anybody. Your body has to be in a place for it to expel the virus, regardless of what you do. Whatever you do, that's your choice, right? And so it's very, very important. I prefer to fortify my immune system. I'm not waiting for something to see if I can, try to build up an immunity to something. I can't, I know that I can fight off disease. So, because I give myself what I need, the ammunition to do so. So, but again, everybody has a choice to make, and whatever the choice is, please, please, please still take care of your respiratory system season right now. Take care of it. Don't eat a lot of mucus forming foods. And these are some helpful remedies for emphysema. Horsetail. It helps horsetail. See, this is what I'm telling you. God has created everything we need to give the body what it needs to heal itself, because this is where we came from. This is how it created us. Horsetail is for restoring the elasticity of the lung tissue and help to stop the leakage of the fluid. Mullein helps to move fluid in the lungs and help to soothe, heal damaged lung tissue. And other healing herbs for lungs as well. And all these are used for the colon too, because this both have the mucosal membrane. So that's why the correlation from the colon and the lung. These are the same type of herbs that you would use to help heal an inflammation in the colon. Slippery elm, marshmallow, all these, and comfrey leaf, these kind of things. Very, very helpful. And here's more remedies for emphysema. Again, the astragalus, the cordyceps, this is the breathe activator, metal increasing formula. These are expectorants. These two together will help that real thick mucus that can't come up. These two together will help pull that out. L-campane is very good, and pine bark. I love pine bark, and that's in one of my protocols that I help people that have had COVID and even had some complications due to everything else that's going on, has really helped them. Pine bark is very, very powerful. And we'll go to this, and this is all I'm going to say about this tonight. This produces flu-like symptoms, and the recovery rate is above 99.9%. People who are elderly, obese, suffer from other chronic health problems are at the greatest risk for serious complications from COVID-19. They're also at risk for the flu, too. Prevention and treatment. Prevention and treatment. Very important. This was my protocol since this whole thing started, before there was anything else came out. Everyone that had ever called me has recovered, never had to go to the hospital or none of that. They got tested and they had it. They're very sick. I got them. They called me for what to do. Here it is. I added a couple more things with it, depending on what their needs were, and every one of them overcame it. That is powerful. Okay, so this is what the body needs to recover and boost that immune system and to fight off infection. Very important. Okay. And here's some more. These are other things that were helpful in helping for the COVID. Astragalus, atractylodes, balloon flower, cordyceps, elderberry. Elderberry is very powerful. We sold a lot of that. You know, people were getting on that. It helped them. Mullein, um, red sage, and yarrow. Yarrow is very good. Breaking down mucus too as well, breaking down things. I use yarrow and a remedy for, you know, women issues with women with fibroid tumors, help to break that down. So helps to break down thick mucus. So that's very important. So I hope that you enjoyed tonight. I didn't get any calls coming through for the show tonight, but as we go, I want to open this time at least 7:45 for questions so that I can you know, answer and help you even more. And if you have any comments you would like to make or something you want to share, you know, that's what I love to do. I love interaction with the audience. So I'm hoping that as we continue these talks, that I would get some feedback from all of you. Again, my number is 240-695-6677. I do Zoom calls. I am in Maryland, so I know that you know, I have clients from New York all the way down, all East Coast. I've had them in Seattle, Washington, all over. So I do Zoom consultations, and from there we talk about if I need to send a cradle. I do remote scans so I can see where, you know, some things that are going on with you as well. So there's a lot of things that I can do for you via Zoom as well, or just answer some questions for you. So again, feel free to call me, 240-695-6677. And I hope that you enjoyed this tonight. And also my email is drbhealingcorner@gmail.com. And, you know, just send me something, just, you know, that you enjoyed the show, or give me suggestions, what you'd like to hear about, things like that. I'm on every Friday night at 7 p.m. And, you know, we're going to go from there. So thank you all so much for coming on. I hope you learned something tonight, and I hope to hear from some of you. God bless you. God bless you wherever you are and whatever situation you're in. I pray right now for healing in the mighty name of Jesus. I pray for your healing, and I pray that God would shift your mindset so that you would be you know, just be responsible and choose good health in this life, because if we're still alive right now, we have purpose. We have a purpose to be here, and we want to be able to fulfill our purpose. We don't want to be just alive just to be alive. We want to be alive and moving and living on purpose, right? So God bless you all. I pray for everyone on here, and we'll see you next week. God bless.